Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Yankees dropped a tough one last night. Gleyber Torres dropped a routine pop-up because of a lack of effort. In fact, I think if he put in any less effort, he would have legally been classified as a spectator.
Man, tough loss. Tough loss. Freaking just such sloppy played baseball. A lot of just missed opportunities. I just hated that game. I just hated that game. Freaking Gleyber showboating, missing an easy pop-up, a little leaguer would catch with two hands. Then you freaking get just as umpires, seems like every time there's a borderline call, it went against us.
I appreciate the call. I think you summarized pretty much how a lot of Yankees fans, including myself, were feeling after that game and were feeling this morning when we woke up. There's a few things that really bothered me. One, the umpiring was really, really bad. I mean, that was one of the worst called games of the year. How do you not have the best umpire in the game behind the plate for Yankees, Dodgers, national TV? Come on. Also, Gleyber Torres' effort on that pop-up was embarrassing. He should be embarrassed this morning. Look, errors happen. If there's a routine ground ball and you bobble it, look, errors happen, physical mistakes happen. But that error was solely a product of laziness. He just kind of drifted over to the ball and tried to make a cool basket catch, a stylish play, and he dropped it. And if you can't summon up the energy to make a max effort, fundamentally sound play in an important 0-0 game against a potential World Series opponent on national TV, I just don't know how we can help you, Gleyber Torres. Also, we got to do something about DJ LeMahieu and Anthony Rizzo. We got to comment about why are we not more patient with DJ LeMahieu. Well, here's the issue. He's in his late 30s now. He's 36 years old. And at some point, your baseball skills just start to diminish. I think we saw the beginning of it last year, and I think we're seeing it this year. The guy's bat is just slow. And Anthony Rizzo, also, no timing whatsoever. I know it's just one loss, and it comes on the heels of an 8-game win streak, but there were a lot of red flags last night.
Hey, Derek, that game last night was simply lost because of Boone. You can't leave Hamilton in that game for that long. And then you have to pinch hit Soto for either Stanton, DJ, Grisham, or Trevino. That could have helped you win the game last night.
I'm not going to get on Boone about sticking with Hamilton because you never know how long that game is going to go. It was, such a tight game. It really, you could see it going 15, 16 innings. And so I don't blame the manager for trying to get as many outs as possible out of Hamilton. But in terms of Soto pinch hitting, I thought the spot that would have been great would have been when the Yankees loaded the bases for Giancarlo Stanton. I believe it was the 8th inning, and there were 2 outs, right? And you had Blake Trinan in, who hasn't pitched much and was looking wild. He's getting a ton of movement on that sinker. I thought Juan Soto, if you just send him up there to pinch hit and say, do your best to draw a walk, that would have been how I fired that weapon. I would have definitely sent him in there to try and win the game there with one of his patented at-bats where he fouls off a number of pitches, takes a number of close pitches, and ultimately works a walk, because it would have forced in a run. And I had very little confidence in Giancarlo Stanton there because he doesn't hit a lot of things that aren't straight, especially if they're fast. He'll occasionally run into a hard fastball, and he'll hit hanging breaking balls 9 miles, but I don't feel good about him facing 96-mile-an-hour sinkers and sliders. Just not as good against those type of pitchers. So, yeah, that one, Boone should have pulled the trigger there with Soto. I agree with you.
Rizzo, every single hit he's had this season has been in clutch situations, and then every time we need him to hit, he's done absolutely nothing. I'd say same thing goes for Torres. He hits when we really don't need him to. And I'm just saying we have talent. We have Ben Rice, who he looks ready. He's 25. He's around that age. You don't want to wait too longer on him or else he might, kind of age out. But yeah, it's just annoying because Dominguez is tearing it up, and then you're playing Trent Grisham. And Trent Grisham can't lay a bunt against the Dodgers late in the game.
The Ben Rice thing is something we got to talk about because he is playing pretty well in the minor leagues this year, hitting well at AAA. I don't know how good he is defensively. Rizzo did make a couple of very nice snags on defense last night, so I'll give him that. But you're starting to hear more rumblings about Ben Rice the longer and longer Anthony Rizzo struggles. And these struggles really go back to last season. You know, he had the concussion, and then he bounced back a little bit at the beginning of this season, but has sunken more into that guy who we saw in the second half of last year. So the Yankees got to maybe do some tests and find out if his reaction time is still, what it's supposed to be. And if he's not right, physically, it might be time to go to Ben Rice. And I know he hasn't played much at AAA, but he's stinging the baseball down there. And you got to think that, coming into the major leagues and being energized and wanting to show what you can do, might be a little bit of a, it'll either force him to sink or swim, honestly, and we'll find out what type of hitter he is. But I'm on board at this point with making some changes because despite the winning, we've basically won on the backs of Judge and Soto. And we proved last night that without Soto, this becomes a different lineup. Now, you don't want to disrupt chemistry by saying, hey, we're going to, DFA LeMahieu, we're going to DFA Rizzo or any of this stuff. But you have to consider, if you have better talent in the minor leagues, these guys should play. I want to see Dominguez this year. And that's not just selfishly because I'm a big Dominguez supporter and a big Dominguez fan, but I think he can really help this team. I would have rather seen Dominguez hitting than Stanton last night against those pitchers just because of the types of pitchers they are. I have very little confidence of Giancarlo Stanton coming up big against a tough relief pitcher with a nasty slider. But Dominguez, at least he's lefty, right? So he kind of takes that slider out of play. It's something the Yankees got to start thinking about. And Ben Rice, he's tearing up the minor leagues. I know the minor leagues are not the major leagues, but might be time to give him a look pretty soon.
Hey, Derek. This is Jared from Denver, Colorado. I'm a huge fan of your show, huge fan of the Yankees, have been since I'm 5 years old. Anyways, I was just watching your show tonight, and you said that DJ was done. I think that's totally unfair. The guy had no spring training, and the whole month of April, you were excusing Judge for not having spring training.
I hear you, but I'll tell you the difference, and the difference in my thinking anyway, and I'm not sure if anybody else feels this way, but DJ is a lot older than Aaron Judge. And he's at the point of his career where guys start to break down, and he's had so many foot injuries. And feet are so important when it comes to hitting because it's where your power, your pop comes from. You drive from the ground upwards. And DJ had a really bad first half of the season last year. The bat looked slow. DJ has just looked overmatched. And Aaron Judge has never looked overmatched since his rookie year. Since 2017, he has not looked overmatched in Major League Baseball. Yeah, he'll strike out a lot. He gets a lot of pitches called below the zone. But if you throw it in the zone, he is dangerous. And I just felt like it was a timing issue with Aaron Judge. Maybe it is a timing issue with DJ LeMahieu, but he's at the point in his career where it's 50-50, right? It's 50-50 that he's either got a timing issue or that he's on a permanent decline. And we're at a spot where we're competing for a division title. And I just don't think that you can be that cavalier about having 2 or 3 dead bats in the lineup when you're trying to win a division, trying to win a pennant. So DJ he's got about a week, in my estimation, before the Yankees make some kind of adjustment, whether it's bringing in somebody from the minor leagues, whether it's making a trade, but he is not hitting, he's not putting any kind of thump into the baseball. He's not driving it with authority. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm being a little unfair on DJ, and maybe the commenters will correct me on that, but I think it's a completely different story between DJ's struggles and the things that are worrisome about him and, what we saw from Judge in the first part of this season, Judge had 2-3 home run games in the second half last year. And I know DJ had a little bit better of a second half too, but I just don't see the thump in the bat from DJ anymore. He looks like an old player. So does Rizzo. Now, Yankees are in first place. They got a 3.5 game lead. Maybe they don't need to make any changes. But if I'm them, I would be keeping an eye on who can help me at third base, who can help me at first base, because I think they're going to need it.